I can guarantee you there are a lot of battles yet to be won for justice. There are a lot of mountains yet to be climbed to overcome human ignorance and human prejudice. There are many songs yet to be sung in the name of joy and a dedication to all that's good and true and beautiful. I make that commitment to each one of you, not as a sign of accomplishment done, but maybe as a dream and a hope of things yet to be done.
Good evening, members of the Notre Dame family, and welcome to Notre Dame Day 2015 Overtime. My name is Mickey Kidder, and I'm here with my great friend and colleague, Jonathan Retartha. Jonathan, we've got a really fantastic evening ahead of us tonight, don't we?
We sure do, Mickey.
As many of our members of the Notre Dame family know, we had a little bit of difficulty last evening, the final 3 hours of the Notre Dame Day 2015, but never fear. Because so many individuals did not have the opportunity to log on, view the wonderful programming, give and support Notre Dame, and vote for their favorite area of interest at the university, we've decided to provide that opportunity tonight. But we decided not just to take the programming from last night, but make it bigger and better than ever, right?
That's right, yeah, it sure is.
Not only are we going to show last night's program, but Jack Nolan's going to be with us with several members of the Notre Dame football team. So friends, we are so grateful that you've logged on tonight, that you're going to be joining us for the next 3 hours. We assure you, you are in for a real treat. Jonathan is going to walk us through a couple of the updates from this afternoon, one of them including over 15,000 gifts already logged on through yesterday's program.
It's amazing. A huge thank you once again to all the members of the Notre Dame family that made a gift, cast your vote for the areas of Notre Dame that you love the most over our 29 hours the past 2 days. It's been an overwhelming response, as you saw from the demand on our website last night. That being said, we are so excited to give you 3 additional hours to give and vote to close out the Challenge Fund competition strong and allocate those $1 million to the areas of Notre Dame that you love the most. So, if you visit NotreDameDay.nd.edu, you'll see the site looks a little bit different, and we can talk you through it right now. The site looks a little bit different. You're going to see it still had that gold give and vote button. That's your starting point. Click the gold give and vote button, and then you'll be on our new giving form. It's the same concept, a little bit of a different experience, though. We want you to pick those same 5 areas that you love the most at Notre Dame. We want you to pick those voting areas that you want to get involved with. Send it to family and friends. Recruit as many people as you know to say, hey, these are the areas that I love during my Notre Dame experience. By making a $10 minimum gift, you're going to get those 5 votes to help allocate a portion of our $1 million challenge. You fill out your normal contact information just like you would on the form that was up before. You then put in your donation amount. You can do the gift designation if you choose, and then you're asked, is this your first 2015 Notre Dame Day gift? If it is, you click yes. If not, you click no, and the process will go from there where you'll be able to select your votes from a drop-down menu. After doing that, you can then take a look at our leaderboard. And as Mickey mentioned, we are so excited to have over 15,000 gifts from the past 2 days, and we're going to hopefully add quite a few more in the next 3 hours.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look. I know it's been a while. People are so excited. They've been tweeting us. They've been asking us on social media, who's on top of the leaderboard right now? The Glee Club continues to be on top of Ultimate Frisbee by a few hundred votes. Glee Club would receive $43,000 of the $1 million challenge fund if the contest ended right now. So still a long ways to go. You can see there are many residence halls up here near the top of the list. St. Edward's Hall, Stanford Hall, Alumni, Keenan, Morrissey. It's anybody's game right now. You still have such an amazing opportunity to go on social media, send emails, get as many people as you know. Even if you made your gift, find people to make their first gift. So, are we ready to start overtime, Mickey?
Jonathan, I think we are.
All right, well, let's get started with some great content.
Enjoy the show, friends.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to hour number 27 of Notre Dame Day 2015. You're catching us at a great time, folks, because yesterday evening we kicked off a 29-hour global celebration of all things Notre Dame. So far, we've told impressive stories of Notre Dame students, alumni, parents, friends, and fans from all across the globe, and we have more to come in just a few minutes. My name's Gary Sieber. I graduated from Notre Dame, yay, class of 1981, and I'm now a weather anchor of sorts at WNDU TV. Some of you, if you've stopped into town, may have seen a little Saturday morning weather poetry. I also oversee the broadcast journalism program through WNDU TV here at Notre Dame, and I've done so for over 2 decades, teaching students, including one who's sitting right next to me. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back, and thanks for sticking with us. If you're just now joining the fun here on Notre Dame Day, we hope you'll stay tuned for all of the outstanding stories we have this hour. And I'm joined this hour by Notre Dame alumna and my fellow WNDU colleague and former student, Tricia Hart. I don't know about you, Tricia, but I'm really excited for what's in store this hour.
I'm sure you are, Gary, and I'm excited too. This is my second Notre Dame Day, and this broadcast has been impressive so far. Only a school like Notre Dame could pull off something like this. We have some very special guests on this hour, including the iconic Notre Dame Leprechaun, one of the signature game day faces to the Fighting Irish. We'll also talk with Tommy Hawkins, the most recent inductee to Notre Dame's Ring of Honor, and we'll catch up with Notre Dame's first Rhodes Scholar since 2002.
Well, folks, beyond the incredible stories we'll be telling today, we have something else really special going on. We'll be giving away $1 million over the course of this broadcast, and you heard me right, that's $1 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to be giving away, and the coolest part is that our viewers have total control over where that money will be distributed. Each time you log on to NotreDameDay.nd.edu and donate $10 or more, you'll be given 5 votes. The total votes cast during our Notre Dame Day broadcast for student clubs, residence halls, the academy, and so forth will determine what percentage of the $1 million they will receive. So that means your $10 gift could possibly end up having an impact totaling $100 or more. So the more votes you cast for your favorite academic unit, hall, team, or the other organization during the Notre Dame Day, the higher the percentage of the $1 million they'll receive.
You got it. So let's take a little moment to not only encourage folks to get online and donate, but to give a shout out to the donors who were kind enough to provide Notre Dame Day with this $1 million gift. This is amazing, and your generosity will be helping so many students who are here at Notre Dame.
That's so right, Gary, and I'm so excited to see how things will pan out. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll dive right into our hour 27 of this Notre Dame Day broadcast after this commercial.
The mind. It processes every image, every voice, every word on the page. Yearning to understand, inspired by faith, it paints a picture of the world. When given the chance to examine things from different perspectives, to turn conventional thought upside down, the mind soars.
Welcome back to Notre Dame Day. I'm Tricia Hart, class of 2013. Right now I'm joined by one of the most recognizable faces on campus during game days, the Notre Dame Leprechaun. In many ways, John Doran is a normal college student. He's a junior here at Notre Dame, and he's an accounting major, taking 18 credits a semester so he can earn his CPA in 4 years. He competes in inter-hall sports with his friends from O'Neill Hall and attends all of the Notre Dame sporting events. But he's also traded his anonymity for a position rivaled only by Notre Dame head coach Brian Kelly and the Irish's top players. He is the Notre Dame Leprechaun. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. That was quite the introduction.
I know, a lot of things to your name, but most people know you for being the Leprechaun, which this is your second year in a row. Tryouts. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, actually, excuse my voice if it's a little hoarse. We just had tryouts on Friday, so been doing a lot of screaming. But yeah, going into my second year. I was re-elected, if that's how you put it, but I'll be doing Gold Squad, which is football and men's basketball again.
So how many other people were trying out for this job?
So this year was a little less. It started with about nine guys. Last year, probably around 15 started out, but then, so it starts with 9 guys. They go for a week or two, like clinics with the cheerleaders, and after about a week and a half, they cut it down to 5 or 6, what they use for the final tryout.
And I know I spoke with you last year after you first got the post. So was the first year what you really expected it, or was it so much more?
The first year it was way more. I mean, you only think really of the football and basketball, and as much as I say I don't, that's what you think of, is running out the flag and going about the basketball court. But it was a lot more, and it was great. I was doing everything from visiting schools, visited so many schools, visiting hospitals with the ACC, going to different sorts of fundraisers and games. It was everything I expected and more.
And it's a full-time job, but many people think you are scholarship, but this is something you just do for the love of it?
No, no scholarship. I say it's the best unpaid job in America, is what I say, in the world, actually. I think there's really there's no scholarship, but I'm all for it anyway.
So I'm sure last year your family was pretty excited, but after getting it a second year in a row, what was your friends and family's reaction to this?
Well, yeah, now I can say I've had 2 Rudy moments. I was able to call my dad and tell him, Dad, I'm the Notre Dame Leprechaun. Now I get to do it a second time. And my parents are just thrilled. My brother is excited. My brother got to visit this fall for the first time in his life, and it's definitely something, that's for sure.
Now, a lot of cheering. Now, do you have any other cheering experience prior to just being the Leprechaun, or is this a natural calling for you?
Well, I was a big fan of my high school teams. I played a lot of sports in high school, but for basketball, I'd go to the basketball games. I wear like this big blue skin-tight suit in high school. It got passed down from generation to generation in my high school, so I wore that a few times. But other than that, no real organized cheering experience, just to live the life of a super fan.
Now, I've heard a rumor that people like to steal the Leprechaun suit. Is that true, and do you have to hide it?
So this is, it's a pretty nice suit, I must say, but I've never had it stolen personally, but I do a decent job of hiding it. My roommates, they all know, I got 3 roommates, they all know where it is. But I used to have my backup suit was kind of a little decoy sitting right by the door. And my good one was in the back of the room somewhere. I won't say where, but yeah, I keep it as hidden as I can, because I know, hey, if I didn't have it, I'd want it, that's for sure.
So what are you looking forward to most going into this second year? Is it going to be the same feeling running out onto the field on opening day?
So I think, it's the feeling, you can't describe it. It's something else. But I think it's going to be nice to have a little more experience. Last year I kind of got thrown into it. It was my first year going right into football and men's basketball, and we had an amazing year. But it'll be nice having more experience, being a lot more comfortable with what I'm doing. We got a new cheer squad that I'm going to be traveling around with, so it'll be nice to hang out with them.
All right, well, thank you so much, John, for joining us, and good luck for year number 2 of being the iconic Leprechaun. Not many people can compete with that. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for all the inside scoop. Always good to see what it's like to be the Leprechaun. Next, we're going to turn it over to Gary Sieber, who has a special guest for us on Notre Dame Day Hotline. Gary?
Well, thanks, Tricia. And joining me now on the Notre Dame Day Hotline is Alex Kocha. Alex is Notre Dame's first Rhodes Scholar since 2002. And he is an amazing guy, a Notre Dame student, obviously. He's also a member of the National Championship fencing team. He was student body president, and the list goes on and on of all of his accomplishments. Alex, thank you very much for joining us on the phone tonight. And congratulations, by the way, on being named Notre Dame's first Rhodes Scholar in 13 years.
Thanks so much, Gary. It's great to be with you.
Well, you sound like a smart guy. Tell me a little about yourself. What does it mean, first of all, to be a Rhodes Scholar, and how does one qualify for that?
Sure. Well, the mission of the Rhodes Scholarship is to fight the world's fight, and they look for a combination of scholarship, leadership ability, and what they call physical vigor, which used to be purely athletics, but now it's sort of broadened to include a lot of different creative outlets. But to be a Rhodes Scholar means that I get to really be with an amazing cohort of U.S. students and international students studying at Oxford for 2 years.
And what are you doing at Oxford? Are you doing a particular kind of research of some kind, or is it just sort of a general studies?
So I'll be starting at Oxford in the fall, but I'll be looking to study comparative social policy and then get a master's in public policy. And my goal there is to really look at this idea of social inclusion as a framework for public policy, in which we analyze kind of the systems within our government that either keep people disconnected from engaging with the system, or on the positive side, make sure that they are really participating in the democratic process.
Can you give us an example of what that inclusion might mean? Are we talking about election inclusion, or are we talking about something completely different from governance?
You know, it's a pretty holistic thing. One of the projects I'm working on right now in D.C., I'm working at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and we're looking at programs that are targeted towards homeless populations to make sure that we can engage, especially youth who are just disconnected from all sorts of systems that the government tries to help them with. And so we're trying to, one, identify those youth, and then two, make sure that we can get to them in a way that helps them, live up to their full capacity.
Alex, I'm a little curious. I mean, it's been so rare for anyone to be a Rhodes Scholar, and it's been a long time, as we mentioned, since Notre Dame has had one. What was your reaction when you first found out the news? Could you believe it?
Well, it was overwhelming. I had actually applied the year before and I didn't get it, so I knew exactly what the opposite side of the coin felt like. So when they finally announced my name this past year, I did have to keep it in a little bit because I knew what it felt like to not be on the successful end. But it's been really overwhelming. It's been great to just talk with a bunch of people about the Rhodes Scholarship and sort of try to get Notre Dame students to start thinking about applying for the Rhodes when they're in their junior or sophomore year. It's kind of a whirlwind of activities over the last few months.
Sure. Alex, here's a tough question for you. Of all those things that we mentioned, student body president, national champion in fencing, Notre Dame graduate, and Rhodes Scholar, which of those four means the most to you and why?
Well, I'm actually going to name one that's not on the list, if that's okay. Right when I got to Notre Dame, I started working with students, faculty, and staff in an effort to make sure that Notre Dame was a welcoming environment for all students, regardless of sexual orientation. And we started a campaign to get recognition for our Gay Straight Alliance, which is PRISM ND now. And that experience just let me get to know so many wonderful people who work on campus to make sure that it's a welcoming environment and really live out our mission as learning as service to justice. So I think the most meaningful experience I've had in the last 5 years has been that one.
Well, Alex, I know the university is really proud of you. Father Jenkins was very complimentary in talking about your accomplishments. What do you plan to do now? Let's take Alex times about 10 years here. And what do you plan to do? Where do you plan to be 10, 15 years from now?
Oh man, I'm used to the 5-year plan question, but 10 to 15, that's pretty long. I'm fascinated by policy work, and so I think I do want to get involved in policy making at a federal or state level. I just think that being able to engage in kind of the systems that surround us is such an important skill. Being able to make sure that those systems are inclusive is something that I'm extremely passionate about.
All right, Alex. Well, thanks very much. I was talking with Don Snagowski, who was a Rhodes Scholar here at Notre Dame, I think back in the early 60s, and he told me if I ever met you to tell you congratulations. He's so proud of you. And so are all the other members of the Notre Dame community. Alex, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Take
Alex
care.
Kocha, the current Rhodes Scholar from the University of Notre Dame. Well, let's go out to Rich Heide and see what's going on. Rich?
Thanks so much, Gary. I'm here with Mike Flanagan and senior members of the Baja SAE Club. Now, Mike, would you mind taking us a little bit through about what we have here and about the club in general as well?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Mike. I'm a senior on the Baja team. I'm a member of the suspension design team. And what we have here is we've got our vehicle that we designed for the Society of Automotive Engineers Baja competitions. So what we do is we design an off-road vehicle to race for 4-hour competitions. We bring it through tech inspections and design meetings, and then we build it and we validate it. We spend our whole year working on this car with a team of seniors and then also underclassmen. We're currently a growing team. And basically the whole goal is to try to survive through the culmination of the event, which is an endurance race, which is obstacles, it's logs, concrete cylinders, drops, mud pits. Really, it's everything they can throw at us to try to prove that we've engineered and learned and have some real hands-on quality real-time experience.
So, Mike, obviously I know this is a very labor-intensive process, but at the same time it's also an educational opportunity. Can you take us through the fact that this is a capstone engineering course here at the university and kind of the opportunities that this course provides you here at Notre Dame?
So as a capstone project, it's pretty unique because every senior engineer has to go through a capstone design project. But for us, it's really a voluntary commitment. And I say commitment because it's really, it's vast. I mean, the complexity of the project, we're spending weekends, nights, over the summer, we're scheduling, planning, we're at last year's competitions, taking notes, trying to figure out how we can get better and, be more competitive than everyone else. And then throughout the year, we're spending our time designing, reviewing, working on checking each other's work, and then we move into building. And really, it's unique because it's got so much hands-on experience. There aren't many other senior design capstone projects where you're in a shop welding, you're learning how to use mills and machining, bending your own tube and cutting it, and then really going out there and testing it and showing that you have the hands-on engineering experience that employers really need and see in the real world. For example, we finish our design, and on day one we think it's an A+ design. We're like, great, it's going to do great. and then we bring it out in the field and drive it for 4 hours and try to abuse it and see how we do and shake up our drivers and find out where we got it a little bit wrong and what we need to fix.
Obviously, as you mentioned, it's a ton of work that goes into this, but can you take us through maybe a little bit of the technical aspects of the car? And I'm sure you guys have quite a group over here, and I'm sure it's a very tight-knit group. So can you talk about kind of the camaraderie that you guys have as a group here as the Baja SAE members?
Of course. So as a group, the way we split it up is with this bigger project, we really break it into sub-teams. So here we've got senior leaders on each of the sub-teams. We've got suspension, drivetrain, chassis, and we really break down into each component so we can work on optimizing each of those. So for suspension, we're working on, trying to soak up all the abuse from the obstacles. Drivetrain, we're trying to build a fast, efficient system. Chassis, we're trying to build something that's structurally safe and meets the really extensive rule requirements given to us by the Society of Automotive Engineers. And it's really all about keeping drivers and students safe while also pushing our knowledge and pushing our ability to build, design, engineer an incredible off-road vehicle.
So I think the question that everybody's wondering here about this car, how fast does it go?
It tops out about 25, but we're hoping to hit 30 by the end.
25 to 30, not bad at all. Now talk about the competition. Obviously, I understand you guys just got back from a competition, and maybe talk a little bit about the progression of the club and what's coming up moving forward.
So for competition, it's really the most exciting time for the team. We spend long hours in the shop, hanging out and working on the project together. So when we finally get to go on that long road trip, sometimes too long road trip, to our competitions, this last one was in Auburn, Alabama. It was actually 2 weeks ago, and we traveled down there, raced and competed for 4 days. There's tech inspections, so we have to prove that our design meets the requirements. Some teams show up and don't get to race at all because they haven't met the rules, which is kind of heartbreaking to see and watch. And then for us, we then spend the next of it. We get to start having the fun. We get the reward from all of our long hours of work, where we've got dynamic events. So there we've got acceleration, maneuverability, suspension courses, where they're really pushing and testing our design, trying to find out exactly what we've built. And then on the last day, it culminates in the full endurance race that I talked about before. And as you'll see here, the reason the vehicle is so muddy and dirty is because it's been through it all for hours and hours of abuse. And really, we do this. This is the first year. We're a growing team, and this is the first year we're going to 3 competitions. So we went to a competition 2 weeks ago. We got back exhausted, tired, sleep deprived, but happy with how we did. And then this weekend, we basically spent the week in between preparing the car again, doing repairs, doing redesigns, and getting ready for this last weekend where we went and did a testing session at Chrysler at their proving grounds, which was pretty intense. They don't mess around there. They've got their Jeeps and everything, so it's a pretty serious drive. And then 3 weeks from now, we'll be in Portland, Oregon, and we'll be racing again in the final competition against all the top teams and international teams. So that's what we're working on right now.
Pretty amazing. Quite an extensive network we have here. The Baja SAE Club, we're joined by Mike Flanagan and his group here, the engineering club here at the University of Notre Dame. Now let's go to Digger Phelps. Hope you enjoyed this interview.
Well, I hate to disappoint all of you Digger Phelps fans out there, but I am not Digger Phelps. He was with us last night at La Fortune, but this, of course, is ND Day Overtime Live. We're actually coming to you from the Fighting Irish Digital Media offices over in the Joyce Center, and I am honored to be joined right now by Notre Dame starting safety, Max Redfield. Max, thank you very much for taking some time out of your very intense academic studies right now. You're an economics major.
I am, also minoring in Mandarin.
Mandarin Chinese.
Yes, sir.
I've always thought, I've never been able to, I look at it, I don't know how you even read it, but you can even speak it. Can you say something in Mandarin Chinese for us?
我喜欢打球.
What did you just say?
I like to play ball.
And you play it very, very well.
Thank you.
Let's talk about last year. You started 11 of 13 games. A couple of games, though, you kind of got pulled out of the starting lineup. You got back into it. You played well. You've had a great spring. Talk about how you've developed as a player.
Well, other than just some of the fundamentals coming along and really harnessing the details of the game that the coaches have really been harping on me to kind of focus on, I feel that just I've started to feel grounded. Like you said, I got pulled out for a couple of games, and it kind of made me realize that I'm not on top of the world. I need to earn my spot just like everyone else. I need to work every single day and basically earn my spot in practice every single day. And it was definitely a tough part of my career, and I've definitely grew from it.
When you play at Notre Dame, you not only play at the highest level of college football, you play at a school that never catches anybody else flat. Everybody circles the Notre Dame game. Talk about how difficult the transition is, even for a young man like you, one of the top-ranked players in the entire country, to make that transition from high school, where you were dominant, to this level of football.
Well, other than the obvious speed difference, it's so much more complicated. The defenses and the offensive schemes are so much more moving parts, and obviously the athletes are a lot greater. And taking all that into consideration, it's also a mental game. It's mental over physical. The coaches will let you know, and veteran players will let you know as well. And you really have to wrap your mind around the game and understand it fully to be successful.
Now, last spring, you were involved in the implementation, the installation of Brian Van Gorder's defense.
Yep.
This year it was in. You'd already played it first season, so how is this spring different?
Well, like you said, it was our first spring learning the defense last spring, and now we feel much more comfortable. We feel almost fluent in this defense now. We're communicating a lot well. We're harnessing those details, like I said before, that really help you be successful, and it's great to see the defense now come together since we feel a lot more comfortable.
Talk about the chemistry that you've developed with your fellow safety, who also started 11 games last year, Elijah Shumate.
Well, like you said, our chemistry's grown a lot. He's a great guy and a great player, and the sky's the limit, honestly. He's a great friend of mine. We're going to get better every single practice. We're going to get after it in the summer, and we're really expecting great things from both of us in this fall.
So many things to talk about, but I can't let you go without talking about what it's like for you to play for a Notre Dame legend in Todd Light.
Oh, well, like you said, he truly is a legend. He's obviously a champion on all fronts. Won a national championship in college, won a Super Bowl in the pros, and he's really a great guy. He's a guy who will teach you the fundamentals and really can express himself to tell you what you're doing wrong. He's not going to yell at you and try to get down on you. He's going to tell you exactly what you need to fix and exactly how to get better and what you need to do to be successful.
I can't thank you enough. I know Notre Dame fans watching all around the country can't thank you enough. You just came from a 2-hour study hall, and now you're going back to study more because the last day of class is at the end of this week. So thank you very much, and good luck with those exams.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, and now we want to check out what's happening in the social media world, and you're going to update us on that, Mickey.
Absolutely, Jack. There's a lot going on. Let me show you right over here on
do.
this monitor. So, friends, what we love about this is not just yesterday were members of the Notre Dame family mobilizing and activating their groups, but we're seeing it yet again tonight. The clubs have been active. Miami and Los Angeles in particular, they're in a race here for the most activity on social media. It's great, though. We've got members of the Notre Dame family retweeting pictures from the last couple of days, posting new likes about things that they're seeing on Notre Dame Day, new programming that they have an affinity for. The activity is enormous, and we would absolutely encourage you for the next 3 hours, mobilize your groups just like yesterday. Get the activity going. Hashtag ND Day and get those pictures up there. It's great. We've got a lot of activity from a lot of the members that you see on our programming and on the broadcast. Really wonderful content and activity that's driving that leaderboard. Speaking of that, Jonathan, how is our leaderboard doing and how are the votes coming in?
It's amazing, Mickey. And again, thanks to everyone who's participated in Notre Dame Day over these last 3 days. Thank you so much for making your minimum $10 gift and casting your 5 votes to help distribute our $1 million challenge fund. It's true, Mickey. Using that hashtag NDDay, or I think today we're going with the hashtag NDDayOT. That's the best way to mobilize areas to your cause. There's a direct correlation between those groups, those Notre Dame clubs that have been out there and active, not just in the last 3 days, but over the last several weeks. They're having a lot of success. Your group still can as well. We have another 2.5 hours or so left to the broadcast. There's still a ton of runway left to go to encourage that giving and voting. So we looked at the top leaderboard last time. Now we're taking a look at the Academy in particular, Sacred Music. As if you were watching last night and yesterday, you saw they were very much near the top of the leaderboard the entire time. Save the Skeletons is on there. Army ROTC. Shakespeare at Notre Dame has 251 votes. All of these areas in the top 18 academies are over $12,000 from the Challenge Fund, as much as 205 from Sacred. I don't think that's correct. We're going to get that fixed. I don't think it's 205,000. But anyways, from a voting perspective, you can see it's an amazing amount of activity going on right now, over 15,000 gifts, thanks to all of you who have taken part. We have a long way to go. We encourage all of you to, again, Get those people involved that maybe haven't made their gift yet. Then all 5 of those votes then can go to those areas that you care about the most. So we're going to be back in a little bit with some more great content. We have more live guests. Thank you so much to these amazing members of the Notre Dame football team who've given time out of their busy schedules this evening on the last day classes to join us. We're going to have Matthias Farley on coming up. We're going to have Malik Zaire coming up. So please stay tuned for all that and much more. Notre Dame Day Overtime is going to be back right after this.
Welcome back. I'm Digger Phelps, and I'm one of your hosts for this hour. This hour is we're getting ready to close down by midnight South Bend time, but understand something. We are on a roll. We're up 20, full court press, trying to go up 40. So don't let us down. Keep voting on the hotline. Well, listen, one of my good friends on the phone right now, Ring of Honor inductee Tom Hawkins. It's been more than 50 years since Tom last suited up as a Fighting Irish student athlete. But the mark he left on basketball program remains intact today. Matter of fact, Tom is still the all-time leading rebounder and was a trailblazer here, especially for Father Hesburgh, as an African-American student athlete attending the university. And after leading Notre Dame, he's had a successful career both on and off the professional basketball court, but most recently as serving as Vice President of Communications for the Los Angeles Dodgers, Dodger Blue. He's here with us today to talk about time at Notre Dame. Tom, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you, Digger. Good to hear from you.
Let's go back to 1956.
Okay.
You were an outstanding high school athlete out of Chicago looking to play college basketball. How did you pick Notre Dame?
Well, actually, it was easy, but it was difficult. Digger, I led the city of Chicago in scoring with 29 points a game and rebounding at 20 a game. And I could have gone wherever I wanted to. My mom and I put together a list of 10 universities that I would visit. Number 1 on the list was Notre Dame. And in Notre Dame's favor, and I think in mine, because it's the greatest decision I've ever made to go to Notre Dame, my high school coach, Eddie O'Farrell, and my college coach, Johnny Jordan, grew up together in Chicago and competed as high school basketball players.
Well, when you came here in that time period, Father Hesburgh became president in 1952. In 1957, President Eisenhower asked him to get together with a bunch of men, 3 from the South, 3 from the North, including him, and they came up with a Civil Rights Act. But yet you're here as an African-American student in a situation where there weren't too many African-American students. What were some of the challenges you faced when you're here during that time period, Tom?
Well, okay, Digger. Number 1, there were only 10 blacks in the entire university at the time. There were 2 blacks in my class. There was me and Murray Turner. And for 4 years, I was the only black on the basketball team. For 4 years, I was the only black in any class that I attended. So, but I had gone through this whole integration thing in high school, Digger, so I was somewhat prepared for it because I was a racial ambassador at Parker High School in Chicago, and I was a part of the mediation team that worked with any racial conflicts that happened in my high school. So I was prepared, and I had backing of people that you wouldn't believe, and a host of professors who were interested in me, not only as an athlete, but as a person and as a student, and I just enjoyed it. Of course, there were challenges.
Right.
I'll tell you one, Father Hesburgh, when I came there as a freshman in 55, told the nation that anywhere Notre Dame's minority students weren't welcome, neither was Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And he meant that. Now, that was a pizza parlor in South Bend who I went to get a pizza, and the guy said to me, "Do you have a reservation?" I said, "No, I don't have a reservation." He says, "Well, then you can't come in." I said, "A reservation at a pizza parlor? Come on, man." And so he says, "Well, if you don't have a reservation, you can't come in." The Notre Dame students who were inside heard it, left their pizzas, and vacated the premises, and Father Hesburgh put the restaurant off limits until I got a public apology. I got a knock on the door one Tuesday. It was Paul Hornung,
Oh, okay.
the Heisman Trophy
Yeah,
winner,
the Golden Boy.
the Golden Boy. And the Golden Boy says to me, Hawk, because of your ethnic ass, I'll just put it that way.
That's him.
Okay. He said, I'm not getting my lasagna, my pizza. Come on, we're going downtown, and we're going to get you this apology. We got on the South Bend bus at the Circle, went downtown, got the apology. Father Hesburgh took the restaurant off of the restricted list, and from then on, I can go and get my pizza.
Yeah,
So,
and poor Horning got his Italian food again.
yeah, he got his lasagna. I said, are you happy now?
Well, speaking of Paul Horning winning that Heisman Trophy, how about you still holding the rebounding record here at Notre Dame?
Well, you know something, Digger? I had a 40-inch vertical leap. So I was a human pogo stick, 6'5" and a leaper. And I could out-jump the average center in college basketball. So my rebounding average is 16.7.
Wow.
But, Digger, we want to roll. We want to just advance that. If it's 16.7, you round it off to the nearest tenths. That would make it 17, okay?
That's it. Hey, but let me ask you this. After that happened to you, all right, and we go way back because of television, you doing a lot of Notre Dame games on TV, but your son, Kevin, ends up at Notre Dame, becomes a walk-on, and makes the basketball team. How did that make you feel as a proud dad?
Well, I told him when he went to Notre Dame, which of course I had to pay for him to go, he was a good high school basketball player. He was good enough to make the bookstore all-tournament team, and he got a walk-on tryout with you. I said, I'm not talking to Digger. I'm not interfering at all. If you make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't. But Digger, he talks to me to this day about the honor that you bestowed upon him, making him proud of some of Notre Dame's better basketball teams in history.
Well, Tom, I just got to say this to you. I was there when you got inducted into the Notre Dame Ring of Honor, number 7, to make it. And yet, as I look back, in the passing of Father Hesburgh, and I know you visited with him because that was back in early January, and it's about February 26th when he passed, but you had a chance to spend time with him, and that had to be a great feeling for you to see him before he passed.
It was great, Digger. Let me tell you about that day because I was sick as heck. But it's a Friday before the induction ceremonies, and Father Hesburgh arranged a meeting with my entire family, with Kevin and his wife, me, my wife, and my daughter, and we sat down and we talked to him for about an hour. And anytime I went back to Notre Dame, I managed to spend at least a half an hour with Father Hesburgh, and he, in my mind, is one of the greatest individuals in the history of this nation. And he accomplished probably as much as anybody did.
Well, Tom, I got to thank you for being a part of this Notre Dame Day, and as you well know, this whole hour has been dedicated to Father Hesburgh and what he meant to this place, and for you to be blessed and touched by him, and yet to be a student athlete, forget being whatever, but a student athlete to get a degree and go on and win in the game of life, and have a son come here and do the same thing. We're all proud of what you do to represent the University of Notre Dame. So thanks for coming. We'll stay in touch. And now, Tricia, I understand you got somebody that may be back from the city of brotherly love, and that means one thing to me: cheesesteaks. Where are they?
That's right, Digger. I'm joined now by Tim Sullivan from the Notre Dame's Alumni Club of Philadelphia on Skype. Now, thank you so much for joining us. Tim, how are you doing over there in Philadelphia?
Doing. Thank you for having us. When we love Digger's son-in-law, Jamie Moyer, here in Philadelphia. He gave us a World Series a couple years ago.
All right, I'll pass along that message to Digger. Now, let's talk about your club. How many members do you guys have?
We have about 500, 550 active dues-paying members.
All right, so that's a lot of people. What kind of activities, and do you have any events coming up for all of them?
Oh, we have a ton of events coming up. This Wednesday, or excuse me, this Thursday, we have ACC Quizzo. We have our Hesburgh Day of Service scheduled for May 9th, and we're going to be joined by our Andy Ignite Connection students, some students in Philadelphia who are working with the university in academic outreach, and we partner with the university to help them in their education endeavors and then provide service opportunities for those kids.
Now tell us a little bit about your scholarship fund. How many scholarships are you able to award each year?
We're able to award anywhere between 3 and 5 scholarships every year. This year we're supporting about 17 students with $90,000 in scholarship aid.
Wow, so that's got to go pretty far then for all those students. I mean, you have 500 and some active members. Are they the ones that kind of are interested in keeping those scholarships going?
Yeah, they do. Our members do a great job in supporting our scholarship. We celebrated in 2013 the awarding of our $1 millionth in scholarship aid, and we were thrilled to be able to do that. And a lot of our scholarship aid now obviates the need for these students to take out student loans, which then frees them up for when they graduate from college to pursue other things.
Well, thank you, Tim. I understand now we have some students who are recipients of those scholarships joining us in the studio with us. So thank you guys so much. You guys are current students. Introduce yourselves. Say what your major is.
My name is Nick Lindstrom, and I'm a psychology major, and I'm a sophomore.
All right.
My name is Caitlin Markley. I'm a business and applied math major.
Now, both of you are from the Philadelphia area, so you want to give a shout out now to your hometown. Come on.
Oh. Yeah, Malvern, PA, represent.
Yeah, let's go Broomall. Love ya.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about, when you received this scholarship. What was it like? Were you actually involved in the club prior to coming to Notre Dame?
As far as involvement, I had met with them. I had interviewed for the scholarship, and I knew that was coming, but or I didn't know the scholarship was coming. I knew that was on the table. Mm-hmm. But other than that, not as much as I would have liked to have been. But finding out I got the scholarship, it meant everything. It meant that I could attend Notre Dame because the money I received, I remember my dad gave me a call, and the first thing he said on the phone was, "Nick, you're going to Notre Dame."
Good feeling.
And it was the best feeling, so.
All right, now Caitlin, let's talk about a little bit what some of the things your club has been able to do for students on campus.
It's been great. Not even a month after I got my acceptance letter, I got a letter from the club inviting me to go to an accepted students night where I got to go to a local high school, and current students were there to answer any questions we had, kind of give us like the feel of what campus was like. And then similarly, before we left for school, they had a freshman send-off. Kind of same thing, current students were there, answer any last questions, help out with what the first couple weeks were like at school. And probably one of my favorite things that I got to do was go to the St. Patrick's Day parade. Our club walks in the parade every year, and it's kind of a cool collaboration of alumni and current students who get to walk in the parade together. It's really cool.
So both of you, one quick last question. Well worth it applying for those scholarships?
Oh, it changed my life, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you guys both for joining us this afternoon. I know you guys have finals you probably need to get ready for at this point in the week.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
As always, it is great to see how our alumni clubs all impact the lives across the nation. We're going to send it back over to Gary Sieber now. And Gary, it looks like you are with a certain celebrity on campus.
Yeah, you can say that again. Welcome back to Notre Dame Day. I'm Gary Sieber, and my next guest sitting here is an All-American and arguably, I would not say one of the best, I'd say the best linebacker on any college football team. And luckily for us Irish fans, he happens to play for Notre Dame. So it's my pleasure to welcome Hoosier native Jalen Smith to Notre Dame Day. Jalen, welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Don't tackle me. Don't tackle me. I've seen you hit people on the field, so we got that going for you. Let's go back if we can, and you're from the area. You're from Fort Wayne. All right, so tell us, you were at Bishop Luers.
Yes.
I understand your brother went to Ohio State.
Exactly.
Which is not unusual for Fort Wayne, right? It's kind of on the bubble, right? So how did he end up there and you ended up here?
I mean, just the overall experience. You know, he always loved, growing up, he loved Ohio State. Eddie George and, you know, Maurice Clarett and all of those great running backs to go there. So that was always his destiny. He saw himself. And Jim Trussell was the one who recruited him. So, you know, after he went there, you know, he stuck it out when the coaching changed. But for me, it was just, you know, I went to a Catholic high school and, you know, was very familiar with the, you know, the foundation of, you know, how things, you know, are orchestrated here. So I fell in love with the touchdown Jesus and the Golden Dome and you know what Notre Dame really stands for. So
sure. Well, now you've been here a couple of years. Are you still in love with the Dome and the Notre Dame?
Oh, yeah.
The aura and all that?
I mean, for me, it's just the beginning. You know, it's the second semester of my sophomore year. You know, coming to a conclusion. Still have 2 more years left. So, and just trying to embrace it. You know, the 4 years go by so fast. So it's just about, you know, having fun.
Sure. Now, did your brother, I mean, I know how siblings can be. Was he giving you a little bit of grief, you know, this past year?
No, not at all. He was,
he's a nicer brother than mine was.
I mean, he was actually excited, you know, just to see me kind of step out of his shadow, you know, into my own name and things like that. So, you know, we cheer each other on, just, you know, trying to make our parents happy.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Tell us a little bit about your academic life because, you know, we see you on the football field all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and we can talk about that in a little bit. But tell me what you're interested in, what you're doing here at Notre Dame.
Well, I'm interested in changing lives. You know, that's, you know, the focal point of what I'm trying to do with my life. You know, I'm majoring in film and television, so just having an understanding and, you know, being able to communicate is something that, you know, I value, and I'm interested in film and television. You know, something like what you do right now. So
yeah.
I'm getting educated there.
You know, I teach a course in this film, television, and theater thing. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might have to check you out.
I may have to change the time of my course for you to be able to. I think you're at practice when we meet.
Oh, okay.
But we'll have to talk about that. So you have an interest in communicating with people. You obviously do a great job with interviews. What's it like for you, even really since high school? I would imagine you've been on that side of the microphone a lot, people asking you all kinds of questions.
Oh, it's definitely humbling, you know, being on a platform to where you can, you know, impact lives and you know, help children out. And it's just something that, you know, I'm really thankful for, and I'm, you know, it's just the beginning. I'm not done. And, you know, once that career ends, then it'll still continue. You know, maybe I'll be in your seat one day, bro.
I'm sure you will. You probably. I don't know that you'll be interviewing me, but probably somebody who's a little bit more famous than me. Jalen, let's look at the season ahead. You just came out of spring practice. You know, it was kind of an unusual blue-gold game because we were not in the stadium. It's all under construction for people who haven't seen it. It's amazing. So it was a little bit different setting. But how are you feeling about how we're playing this spring?
I'm feeling great. You know, starting off with 2 great quarterbacks. You know, we don't know who's going to play. You know, both of them might play. We don't know. You know, personally, I don't care. I want the guy who's going to help us win.
You want to hit either one, right?
I mean, either or. It's hard going into a game like that, knowing that, you know, you can't hit the quarterback even though they're live. Yeah. You know, you don't want to be that guy. So, I mean, it was exciting. The weather was great, and family got to come out. So, you know, that was nice as well.
That's terrific. What about prospects for the fall? I know you're kind of talking about the unsettled quarterback situation, but on defense, Brian Van Gorder's defense known to be pretty complicated.
Exactly.
What's so tough about getting used to it?
I mean, well, we're running an NFL scheme. And, you know, although we're intelligent enough to learn it, you know, that's the special thing about it. But, you know, being able to balance that time, you know, we don't have the NFL time to study for it, you know, with the critical, education that we experience here. So it's just about, you know, developing that, you know, that quality. And it's something that, you know, after a year we understand concepts and things like that. So now it's just about going forward. And
sure. Well, what do you think? You know, 12-0 this coming year. I mean,
this is the year. I believe this is the year. But you got to take it one day at a time.
Exactly.
You know, looking forward into summer camp and getting our guys back, getting our guys healthy, and you know, like I said, just taking it one day at a time.
Very good. Jalen, listen, thanks very much for joining us. You might want to sit here for a second because you were talking about NFL schemes and you don't have the time to study. I know somebody who does, and that is one of the biggest names in Notre Dame football history. He's an All-American. He was the runner-up for the Heisman Trophy, and he's on the phone with us right now. Manti Te'o. Manti, good evening. How you doing out there in San Diego?
It's good. What's up, little bro?
I don't know if Jalen can hear you. He says, "What's up, little bro?"
What's going on, my man? I can't even hear you.
What's up?
Manti, how's the weather out in San Diego? Is it just a little bit warmer than here in South Bend, maybe?
Just a little bit. It's really cold. It's about 85 degrees. It's sunny. So I'm trying to stay warm over here.
Yeah, so it's exactly like it is here then, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Manti, you're out there, you're playing with the Chargers. I think in your entire 4 years here at Notre Dame, I don't know that you ever had an injury, and yet you've had to deal with a couple of them out there. How you feeling? And, what's the latest on that? Are you feeling good?
I'm feeling good. I had a great off season. Worked really hard and gave my body the time that it needed to heal, and just a lot of things. It's football. A lot of things happen that you can't control, and you just, you roll with the punches and you move forward. And so, hopefully, moving into year 3 with the Chargers, hoping to stay on the field and doing whatever I can that's in my power to make sure that happens.
Well, Manti, you went from playing 4 years at the University of Notre Dame with with a great team, and of course, it was just one of the more glorious seasons that I can recall. What's the transition to the NFL been like? I mean, does it have the same feeling? Is it a little bit different? Talk to us a little bit about the mindset and what you're dealing with out there.
You go through several different types of transitions. I think when it comes to Notre Dame, I was just blessed to go to a school like Notre Dame where, you have that tradition and, every single game day, you have that atmosphere. And I think, that's what I miss the most. I miss playing for Notre Dame and running out of that tunnel and playing in front of the 80,000 plus and to hear them cheer and to, feel that energy. But definitely go through some transitions. The transition for me, as far as football, was a little rough. I had to make a similar transition when I went from high school to Notre Dame. You have to make a jump, and it's a similar jump that you have to make in the pros. So it's a jump that I've taken, and towards the ending of last year, I started to catch wind, and I started to get my groove back, and I felt great.
All right. Hey, listen, I understand you were back on campus about a year ago and you met with some members of the Notre Dame family. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I had a tremendous opportunity to come back home to Notre Dame and to speak about my experience at Notre Dame and what made it special for me. And, I just pointed on different points of what I felt made Notre Dame special. And I just covered, was it football for me? Was it the grotto? And just pointed out, several different key aspects of the Notre Dame life that was special to me. And I ended my speech by saying that after going through all of those things, I know what makes Notre Dame special. It's the people, and it's the truth. Notre Dame wouldn't be what it is without the people that are there now and the people that came before us and making it the special place that it is. And it's because of those people that I hold Notre Dame so dear to my heart, and will forever hold Notre Dame close to me. And it's just a very special place.
Well, Manti, you're very thoughtful and a special person. We think highly of you, and I think pretty highly of this guy sitting next to me. Any advice, linebacker to Jalen Smith here?
He already knows. He and I are always in communication. We're always shooting texts back and forth. He has the right tools, not only physically but mentally and spiritually. He's a hard worker. He's a leader. He plays the game the right way. If anything, I could tell him from my own experience is to always just put the team first. When you put the team first, everything else will fall into place. And that's what happened our senior year. We had a special team, and we just had guys that when I went up on the field as the linebacker and as a captain of that defense, I knew that I had 10 guys out there that would give it for me, and they knew that their leader would do the same for them. And I know he'll do the same thing for his team. And once that culture is, developed and it's cultivated there, special things are going to happen again on that campus. And
yep.
I'm just excited to experience that with them.
Well, Manti, I will pass that along to him. I know he'd appreciate it. And do you still follow the Irish while you're out there? Do you get a lot of grief from those people out in Southern California?
I am a very, very close observer of my fellow brothers out there and sisters, who, not only I don't only watch football, but I watched the run that they had in basketball, both the women's and the men's basketball. And, I'm just so proud of what everybody has accomplished. And, because, when I was at Notre Dame, all the alumni used to tell me, you're not only representing yourself, but representing me. And I didn't fully understand that until I became an alumnus. And
all right. Well, listen, Manti, thanks very much for joining us. I got to tell you that I never used to follow the San Diego Chargers, but I do now. So I have ever since you got out there. We'll always be rooting for you here at Notre Dame. We appreciate you joining us, and I'll make sure that Jalen gets all the information that you passed along. For everybody watching out there, though, right now, you're in for a real treat, because coming up next, we've got another dorm competition for you. But instead of testing the mind with a heads-up contest, we're going to test the body with a good old-fashioned tug of war. Take it away.
2, 1, go. We got a winner. One, Ryan Hall. One. We're ready. Ready, set, 1, 2. I did not see that coming. Wall. Moving on to the final.